frankly, you would like some time to evaluate his options, and determine whether or not, to amend the application as suggested. So I would respectfully request that the matter be continued to the next meeting, and then we would come back and finalize. In advance, I would obviously do a letter to the secretary and members of the board indicating, what the applicant's intentions are.
That's fine. Can I make one more comment about the trash? If you're going to reconsider that lot, I don't know how much room you have because you don't have a site plan that I can tell. But you're gonna generate a lot of trash, you're gonna have recycling, you're gonna have trash cans. And one of the main things I see walking through town is that in apartment buildings, nobody appears to be responsible to keep that clean, and it blows around all over. So personally, I would wanna see, and I'm sure, our professionals would wanna see some sort of an enclosure around your trash bins and a big enough area to take care of that. So when you're looking at the other lot, hopefully you will consider that too.
It's recommended in my letter, I think it might be in yours too.
Probably what I got.
It was involved.
No, I heard it somewhere.
No.
And you consent to a tolling of the time for the board to
I
act?
do, yes. I have not gotten a planner's report. Was there a planner's report issued?
Yeah. I emailed it to you.
Hold on, I could give you my file here. I think I have
You know, this one.
it. Got it?
Thank you.
No?
Okay, I'll share it with Mr. Miller as well.
Okay, and this is all market rate housing?
This is all market rate.
Okay, so it'll be subject to the 1.5% new residential affordable housing contribution. Okay,
Whatever your ordinance requires.
that's what the ordinance and statute provides.
Good.
So is there a motion to grant the request for an adjournment? We're currently scheduled for the May 15th meeting, which is subject to change, but, is there a motion to grant the request?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, voice vote?
All right,
Any abstain?
Thank you.
And the mayor is not participating in this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. See you next
See
week.
you next month. Item 4, it's, minutes of the special meeting, April 5th, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes, April 5th, 2023, the special meeting.
We have a second for that?
Second. Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Ms. Saucier? Yes. Ms. Savage? Yes. Mr. Stafford? Ms. Reed? Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
for the resolutions, just read the title from each resolution, because I forgot to update. Those, you have 3 resolutions, we have to
Yes,
approve those.
so we have 3 resolutions.
Two resolutions.
Mr. already sent the other resolution.
Oh, I just don't.
You, maybe Ms. Gardy could add the number for that other resolution when we get to that.
The resolutions were of the 2
Yes.
applications.
You emailed it late this
Which I
afternoon.
thought I entered, I emailed them.
Over the weekend, or maybe over the weekend, yeah.
Yes.
I just didn't bring a copy with me.
Oh, the resolution numbers are, hang on, let me.
2023.
He's got them on the resolutions, he's gonna read the resolution.
9 and 10.
Okay, well, I have it. Did you say there were 3?
And then the third one would be 11, that's the one on the
You should have
ordinance.
3 copies, you should have 6 copies, 2 of each.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Over here. So, this is a resolution of memorialization. Resolution of memorialization on the application of Mount Holly Enterprise LLC for preliminary site plan approval with a design waiver and bulk variance relief for the property identified on the tax map of the Township of Mount Holly as block 127, lot 1.04, more commonly known as 601 High Street.
This is Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's the Taco Bell.
Any motion?
Motion to approve resolution.
And second for the motion?
Second.
Mr. Ether?
Abstain.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Ms. Saucier?
Yes.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Stafford?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Okay, the next resolution is in the matter of the application of BMD Properties and Management LLC, appealing a zoning determination as to the proposed use by GDB International Inc. with respect to the property identified as block 113, lots 22, 23, 24, 29.01, and 29.03 on the official tax map of Mount Holly Township, more commonly known as 210, 220, and 224 Shreve Street.
This was the appeal of the zoning officer's decision.
That was the dry recycling facility, and it's based on a testimony as granted as to his sworn testimony of the use, as described. So if he changes the use or enlarges it, he was come back before us for use variance or site plan.
We have a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-10.
We have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ether?
Abstain.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Ms. Saucier?
Yes.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Stafford?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
And this, the final, resolution is a resolution of the Township of Mount Holly Planning Board reporting its findings and recommendations to the town council on ordinance 2023-05 on the adoption of the proposed single-site redevelopment plan for the Madden's Hardware site known as 20 and 22 Mill Street, block 85, lot 12, and 19 Church Street, block 85, lot 24. Do we have a motion for approval of that resolution?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ether?
Yes?
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Ms. Saucier?
Yes.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Stafford?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
The resolution is approved. We now move to item number 6 on our agenda, matters to be presented by the public. Starting from the first row, do we have matters to be presented by the public? Yes,
Luis Lopez, 98 Levis Drive, Mount Holly, New Jersey. So, how can I see that the full site plan for 601 High Street for Taco Bell? Then I can have a copy of that?
So you can get a copy of what was submitted. It's not a copy of the final site plan. You can come to my office
Okay.
when I'm there, take pictures. I don't have the ability to make copies of site plans that are this big,
Oh, okay.
but you can take pictures when I'm in the office, and just review it there and take pictures, but it's just what they submitted. It's, nothing has changed based on what they approved at the last meeting, just so you know that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Second is, what's the master plan for the church on Pine Street?
I don't know what
Not-
you're talking about.
I'm not,
I'm not
is
aware.
anyone familiar with that?
We have an application before the board regarding insurance on Pine Street.
No, that's it still be just a church, right?
What church?
On Pine Street.
But
What's the address?
what's the address? Is it by like
The
Lim
Spanish
Fong's?
church on-
Yes.
So Ocean Ten's bought that
Oh, what's your
for
thing?
storage.
Oh, for storage? Oh, okay,
No
thank you.
longer church.
Clarify, and we postponed the meeting for everything across the street from Grant Street, right, to the next meeting?
His application was deemed incomplete, so he has to make the application deemed complete before it can be put on the agenda. Could be May, could be July. We don't know yet.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it, and one more thing. One is the planning board or anybody in township could use my video as a video minutes. They can use it, however they want, just to let know what's going on and to see more clearly. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Questions in the second row?
Randy Rothnall, 33 Union Street. I have just two questions or comments. One, I happen to be driving down Madison Road over the weekend or whatever, and I just, on the corner of my eye, I just saw where the empty lots were, the buildings that were taken down by the hospital, and I happened to notice that there was a huge tree trunk there on the property, and I was just kind of curious, did they apply for a tree removal permit when they demolished those buildings? Do you have any idea? Because we do have a tree ordinance.
That goes through the township clerk's office. That goes through the township clerk's office.
We don't enforce that, we're aware of that ordinance, but this isn't an enforcement and.
Well, I know, I
Sure.
understand that, but
They
I'm just
would-
wondering if that, okay,
Understood, but this board would not have notice of, or information as to what permits were made. But your point is well taken, they understand. So
okay,
if you go
yeah,
to the
I mean,
clerk's office, I saw the same thing, the clerk's office will be able to tell you whether a permit was requested and obtained.
okay, yeah, because as part of the MS4 permit 2023, there is a tree protection ordinances, and obviously ordinances are only as good as if they are actually enforced, so.
Understood, but this is not an
I
enforcement.
I got you, but I happened to see that. The second thing is, I just was wondering, what was the actual last, master plan, reevaluation done in Mount Holly, you know? Do you have any idea what the date was?
I believe the re-exam was in 2007.
Okay, 2007, the Minnesota land use law requires a reevaluation every 10 years, and by my calculation, it's 2023, so it's been 16 years, so you are not in, you're out of the 10-year requirement of having a master plan reevaluation, so I'm wondering if there's any plans on redoing a master plan in Mount Holly, because it really is way past due, based on the requirements by the state to have done. And there's a number of things that are new that the required by the Minnesota land use law that should be in your master plan. One, in 2018, there was a requirement that you have to have a statement of strategy concerning smart growth, which includes potential locations for electric vehicle charging stations, storm resiliency, respect to energy supply, flood-prone areas and environmental infrastructure, and environmental sustainability. And then in 2021, the law now requires all municipalities to have a climate change related hazard vulnerability assessment to be completed as far as a master plan re-examination. The law specifically requires that municipalities analyze current and future threats to and vulnerabilities of municipality associated with climate change related natural hazards, include a build-out analysis of future residential, commercial, industrial, other development in the municipality, and assessment of the threats and vulnerabilities identified above related to that development. Identify critical facilities, utilities, roadways, other infrastructure necessary for evacuation purposes and sustaining quality of life during a natural disaster, be maintained at all times in an operational state. Analyze the potential impact of natural hazards on relative components and elements of the master plan. Provide strategies and design standards that may be implemented to reduce or avoid risk associated with natural hazards. Include a specific policy statement on the consistency, coordination, integration of climate change related hazard vulnerability assessment with certain other plans adopted by the municipality, and rely on the most recent natural hazard projections and best available science provided by the New Jersey DP. Now granted, most municipalities have not done this, and there are strategies that you can find on the web, but if we're going to be doing a reevaluation, which are already way past the time frame that should be done, this assessment really should be included and your reevaluation of your master plan. And also, in 2021, there's also new law requiring electric vehicle supply service for any development that's being done or parking lots being done. So if that lot that, near Birchwood that was demolished, I'm not sure what that's gonna be used for, but if that's gonna be made into a parking lot, if there's gonna be less than 50 parking spots, they're required to have at least one electric vehicle charging station, approved and put into that parking lot. So I just wanna make you aware of that. I'm sure your professionals know this, but some of the board members may not, so I just wanted to bring up those new laws and requirements that, should be,
Well, thank you for sharing all that with us, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Did you say less than 50 or? you meant
If it,
more
under,
than 50?
under 50, you need to have one, EV station,
50?
for a parking lot. If it's up to 75 parking spots, you need two.
So if you
100,
had-
you need three.
So if
They
you
just
can
have to
say
be
you
make
have
ready.
One parking lot, you
One
need-
parking lot space should be an electric vehicle ready
Make- make-
station,
make
for
ready.
electric vehicle charging station,
You don't
or
have to-
developing
you
a
don't have to
parking lot.
put it in there.
Okay. Okay, any more comments? Matt Rupp.
Yeah, I do. Richard Dow, 232 Veltman Avenue. Jumping off of Randy's, how does this board consider applications that do not have ordinance required permits? As the lawyer just said a few minutes ago, it doesn't pertain to this board's decisions because it goes to the township clerk. But if the permit has not been issued for the application and approved, for the applications that before this board, then how do you consider that application? It was deemed incomplete, this application that I'm referring to tonight. But wouldn't all applications be deemed incomplete if they do not comply with the tree ordinance that applies to this town, which I believe you've signed off on, Rich, somewhere along the line.
Right.
I'd have to look a little closer. But, so that would make my first question, legal question, to this lawyer. And the second would be, again, what Randy just brought forward was that this master plan does not meet the requirements of a 10-year reval, revaluation and adjustment to bring it compliant with the legal requirements, which Randy just went into. So if you are approving applications that have anything to do with the master plan, and the master plan is not up to date, up to the legal requirement, then how is the approval legal? You're approving something that is a question to the master plan. The master plan that you're referring to does not meet the legal requirement of a 10-year review. So those would be the two questions, and for the answer, I'd like my time stopped, because I did have something else. So I'd like to hear what's to be said on that. You don't understand?
No,
She
it's
can direct
just
it
not a
to me.
Q&A, it's a public comment, and we appreciate the
Okay,
comments.
so you're not gonna answer that, so you got that for the record. Okay, now, as far as the comment goes, this is Chuck Howard over here, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that application that you heard, I wanna congratulate this board, or say, hey, great, that you did look, Rich, at the parking, and you did put into, play this parking requirement. And almost a year ago to the day, Mr. Howard and I had a discussion about the demolition of the historical house that sat at number 2 Brainerd. And when we talked about it, we did talk about it being for parking, put in my notes here. So I think that this board is right and just at looking at that lot that we lost an historical home back in, last year, about this time, the 29th actually, as part of and parcel of his request. But as far as the request goes, mixed use, apartments, downtown, walkability, yeah, I think that's great, a proposal he has. One thing I didn't hear mentioned here was that the on street parking on High Street, there is a limit, you can't park overnight. So whenever you're referring to any parking that he would need for his tenants on High Street, that parking doesn't exist, I think it's between 3 and 6, but don't quote me on that. So that was my comments, that was my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your comments. Any more comments on that? So at that, we'll close, public comment section. And move on to, item 7, matters to be presented by the planner. Mr. Kay, you have nothing? Matters to be presented by the engineer, Mr. Leonard.
I have nothing.
Matters to be presented by the solicitor.
I have nothing further, thank you.
Matters to be
I
presented
have
by the
one
board.
very quick but very important, town council through the township clerk, has asked us if we can move our May 15th meeting to May 22nd, because it's a conflict with the township, council. Just very important meeting.
Can you all hear that, May 15th, May
So-
22nd?
So, that would be a special meeting,
Yes, it would be a special meeting.
which you would have to
Be
advertise
advertised.
for, and everybody who's been adjourned would have to re-advertise, cause it's not a listed regular meeting or like an.
But I know the professionals, just a tentative vote of who's here, who tentatively thinks they can make the 22nd. We're doing this usually after budget meeting.
Tentatively, I could.
After you back,
Okay,
I can't tell you, I'll get tomorrow, I'll look at
because
it.
I will bug you because council needs to know.
I will look at it tomorrow.
Okay.
I can tell you now.
Yeah, I got you.
Chicago.
Yeah,
We got it.
Okay.
For the 22nd.
you're good? Okay. I will send out a, email tomorrow, but it's a very important meeting, council needs to know. Yeah, no, but I was just asked on behalf of council. Okay, that's it, I'll send an email out to tomorrow, everybody. I've got the professionals a corner down, so I'll just get the board. That's it, that's all I have.
And there's no more matters from the board?
No.
We have a motion for adjournment.